Hey, welcome. This is Lee Waller, and I am taking a look at motion media design mainly through After Effects. And as I start off, what I want to do is introduce you to the software and the different areas that you'll be working in After Effects. The first area is the composition viewer, this area here where you will see the visual work of the composition come together. You can see here that I have a little bit of an animation playing, just some text to help demonstrate this. So here you will drop in your different media, whether it is video, graphics, or something that you create in After Effects, like this text and this box here was created in After Effects. All of that will visually come together here in the composition viewer. The next area to the far left here is the project panel. And in the project panel, you will import your different pieces of media that you want to add into your composition. It can be video, it can be graphics that you create in Photoshop or Illustrator, it can be pictures that you've taken. Also, audio can be brought into your composition. But all of these assets will build over here in the project panel, and this is just kind of a storage bin for them. You can also get some information like this arrow that is in the bin right now. I can get some information about it that can be helpful. This is the composition that I have started here, and you will see those as you add more compositions. They will also be over here. The next area that I want to take a look at is the composition timeline. This is where a lot of the work gets done. To the far left here, you will see layers that make up this composition. You will see that I've used this arrow a number of times in the composition, and then I also have plenty of text layers that make up this composition. Very simple composition, not a lot of animation going on, but this is where you will find your assets that you bring in. And then you'll also find the transform properties, the properties that you're going to animate. They will be under each of the layers that you drop in. We will get into transform properties in the next tutorial and begin to work with those. To the right here is our timeline. In motion media design, any animation is made up of spatial and temporal properties, time properties, space properties. As you can see, the composition takes up space, physical space, and it also takes up time. This is not just one still image that we're looking at, but the animation occurs over time. And so we have to be able to work in time, set keyframes, and so we have the timeline here. And so we start down here at 0, the beginning of the composition. We can scrub down here to the end of the timeline, and we're at 1 minute, 5 seconds, and 21 frames. That's how long this entire composition takes to play through. In the timeline, we will set keyframes, and we will be taking a look at what keyframes are and how they work, and you will find those in the timeline here. To our far right are a number of different panels, and these panels give us a lot more flexibility in After Effects. You can kind of look at them as different tools, whether it's like the character palette here, that any of these characters in here, I can go in, highlight them, change the size, change the font, change the color, any number of things that I need to adjust on the character. I can do that here in the character palette. So each of these palettes have a different purpose, and we will begin to take a look at those as we move through. And then final area that I want to take a look at for right now is here in the upper left. And you will find a number of different tools that we can work with in our composition. A couple of the main tools, of course, is the selection tool. The selection tool allows me to go into the composition viewer or down here into the composition timeline and select something and adjust it, move it. So if I wanted to move this arrow, I can move that around using the selection tool. A few others that we will begin to work with fairly quickly will be the rectangle tool to draw shapes, the pen tool, also helpful in drawing shapes, and the text tool. So we'll look at those fairly quickly, but then there's a number of other different tools that just help us in working in After Effects and are more advanced. So this has been a quick overview of the different panels and different areas in After Effects. I hope you'll continue watching on as we get more in depth with motion media design with After Effects.